Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be previewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason Week 2 matchup versus the Tennessee Titans at 7 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. Quick reminder, at 6:30 today, Eastern Standard Time, I will be firing up my live stream reacting to the game. The layout that you are seeing right now is the layout that will be present on the live stream. Stay tuned in for that, folks. Hope to see a lot of you there at that live stream. But let's talk about some of these storylines, some of these questions that we have going into this Bucs preseason Week 2 matchup. The first thing that I want to talk about is Kyle Trask, because coming away from preseason Week 1 against the Dolphins, Trask looked pretty darn good. And I think in some way, shape, or form, he silenced some of those doubters that he had. And I'm not going to say that Kyle Trask knocked it out of the park in preseason Week 1. He didn't have 400 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. No, there were a couple of mistakes thrown in there, but I think the biggest thing that we saw from Trask in preseason Week 1 was growth and development, which is something that so many Bucs fans were pleading and hoping they were going to see from Kyle Trask, and they did see that in preseason Week 1. Now the question becomes, will Kyle Trask be able to maintain consistency? Can he continue to build on that momentum that he gave himself in preseason Week 1? That is going to be the next hurdle for Trask to overcome here. Right now, as it stands, Blaine Gabbert will be starting this game against the Titans, but much like what it was last week, Trask is expected to play a majority of the quarterback reps in this game. Really hopeful that Trask can continue to show growth and development and consistency with his overall solid game that he had against the Dolphins moving into this game against the Titans. The next thing I'm thinking about is the backup wide receiver battle. Man, oh man, that battle is heating up. You have a guy like Tyler Johnson last week, led the team in receiving yards, led the team in targets, had a very good game. But now he's dealing with an ankle injury. How available will he be for this preseason game? Will he even play in this preseason game? That is going to be a question. Tyler Johnson is one of those guys who is battling for a roster spot right now, one of those backup wide receiver roles. And then you look at the undrafted wide receivers, Jarrett Stearns, Devin Tompkins, and Kalen Geiger. All three have made very good plays, not just in training camp, but in preseason Week 1 as well. Can they do the same thing here in preseason Week 2? That's going to be something worth monitoring. Then you have established veterans, guys like Scotty Miller, Brashad Perriman, who probably won't be playing in this game, Cyril Grayson. Those guys, how are they going to do? Vincent Smith you can throw into that mix as well. How are those established veterans going to do? They didn't have a spectacular first preseason game. Will they get more looks in this second preseason game? These are just kind of some of the questions that are floating around right now regarding the backup wide receiver battle and all the players that are in that mix. So, let's pay attention to this battle. I think it's really going to start heating up more here in this second preseason game. Really, possibly some of the last couple of chances that some of these guys are going to get before really tough decisions have to be made. So let's pay attention to all of those guys and that storyline moving into this game. Another thing I was thinking about was Rachaad White. Is he already basically the number 2 running back for this team? The man was great in his first preseason game. He was patient. He was a very solid runner, showed a little bit as a receiver as well. I came away very impressed from that game with Rachaad White. I feel that right now as it stands, he's got a lot of momentum. White does, over guys like Keyshawn Vaughn. Kenyon Barner, unfortunately, was on the injured reserve. Giovanni Bernard, he is dealing with an injury of his own, but Bernard didn't look spectacular in that first preseason game. Didn't look terrible. I think overall he looked like a solid vet. Vaughn, I feel, did not have the best game in the world in preseason Week 1, but Rachaad White really stood apart from the pack. He really separated himself in terms of potential competition for running back 2 snaps. White is going to be another young player to keep an eye on in this game. I have loved watching him run so far. The patience, the power, the speed, it's been a great thing to watch. Let's pay attention to Rachaad White moving forward to see if he can continue to separate himself in that battle for the running back 2 position. Second to last thing I want to talk about here, folks, is will Carl Nassib already begin to usurp snaps over a guy like Anthony Nelson and possibly even dip into Joe Tryon-Shoyinka's snaps as well? I've talked about this on Twitter. I've talked about this in a separate YouTube video whenever the Bucs did sign Carl Nassib, but how much are they going to play Nassib in this game? Do they already view Nassib as a high-tier backup where he is going to be getting a majority of snaps in this game? Will they rotate in Anthony Nelson more? Let's pay attention to it. Nassib has been mainly the third edge rusher so far in terms of snap counts in joint practices with the Titans. That could just be a matter of the Bucs wanting to get Nassib more acclimated quickly to, playing in the NFL again. He hasn't taken some NFL practice snaps in a good long while. We could see a similar thing here in a game time situation, as again, Nassib hasn't taken game time snaps in a while, whereas Anthony Nelson played in last week's game. So maybe they just want to get Nassib some more snaps here in this game just to get him more acclimated once again, since he hasn't had a ton of opportunities this offseason, but could also be an indication as to how the Bucs view Nassib in a potential battle versus Anthony Nelson in this third edge rusher battle. And by the way, I do want to say this because I've seen some comments about this. I love Anthony Nelson, okay? I've seen some people say, James is always trashing Anthony Nelson. No, I think Anthony Nelson is a very solid pass rusher. I have said it before, but I do think the same thing of Carl Nassib, and Carl Nassib does have some advantages over Nelson. Nassib was a team captain. He has shown some very good production in the past in 2018 and 2019, where he had 6 sacks in 2018, 6.5 sacks in 2019, team captain as well. Those are some things to consider in any potential training camp battle and could be some deciding factors as to who becomes that third edge rusher for the Bucs. So, love both guys, but let's pay attention to how these guys, kind of compete with one another in this preseason game. And then finally, folks, let's kind of talk about the kicking battle. Who will win the kicking battle? I have seen some people be very critical about my take on Jose Borregales and saying that Jose Borregales automatically lost the kicking battle last week because he did, miss the game winner. I will say to you, Evan Wanish, I'm just saying, there's a boxing ring around here. We could just go ahead and settle this. That's just my thoughts on that. What say you, sir? But going back to my point at hand here, did Jose Borregales automatically lose the kicking battle to Ryan Suckup last week for missing the game winner? No, not necessarily. He did nail a 55-yard field goal. He did nail all of his extra points. That was good stuff to see, but you gotta nail the game winners, man. You got to. I don't care if it's preseason and the games don't matter. You've got to win game winners. I don't really care if Jose Borregales missed all of his kicks last week. Well, I would care, obviously, if he missed all of his kicks last week, but if he hits a game winner, that's a kick that counts, of course, that's the one that wins you the game. But point being is you got to make the clutch kicks, folks. That's what makes teams want to keep kickers. Jose Borregales did not do that last week, unfortunately. Let's see if he can rebound and build momentum for himself in this upcoming game. And I imagine he will be getting a lot of opportunities again. With Ryan Suckup being that established veteran, I could very easily see the Bucs saying, hey, let's just have Jose Borregales go out there again and try and rebound and build some more momentum for himself. So let's see what happens in that kicking battle again. That's one of those battles that will also continue to heat up here in this second preseason game. But folks, that is it for this preview. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about all of this down in the comment section below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about it. What do you think about all of the storylines that I talked about going into this game? Do you agree with some of my points on them? Do you think that I'm a little bit crazy on some of these points? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.